And we're back. Welcome to the Auto Authorities Podcast. My name is Jay Grossman. I am the founder and CEO of iAutoAgent.com, and I am excited. Can you believe that? I'm actually excited. That probably never happens. But we have Zander Cook, who's the COO of LeaseN.com. He's going to teach us an easier, faster, more convenient way to purchase, sell, or turn in your lease vehicle. And I'm going to tell you this, everybody who's listening, I don't usually have just anybody on this show. This is a very unique service, and you're going to want to listen. Zander, are you ready to do this?
Let's do it.
All right.
Have you ever felt like you were taken for a ride when buying, selling, or repairing your car? Well, not anymore. I'm Jay.
And I'm Dave.
And this is the podcast that tells you what to watch out for, whether you're buying, selling,
or repairing your car.
With 47 years of automotive experience, we are the Automotive Authorities. This podcast is sponsored by iAutoAgent. We're real estate agents for cars.
And Quality Auto STL. Trusted services with no surprises.
Boom. Booyah. We have got an amazing show for you today because we have one of the most unique companies. And frankly, I have never heard of anything like this in almost 26 years of being in this business. We're going to meet him here in a second. But before we do, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Auto Authorities Podcast. Again, my name is Jay Grossman. I'm the founder and CEO of iAutoAgent. And what we do is we are real estate agents for cars. We help you sell your car at no cost to you. We market, we list everything, even showing your car. You don't have to meet people at strange places, and we'll help you buy a car nationwide, handling everything from A to Z. No more back and forth games with the dealer, and we just take care of it all for you. And I would like to thank our sponsors, Podcastify.me. That is Podcastify.me. They make this beautiful show for us every single week, and they make this really happen for you guys. And it's all about you guys. It's about providing you guys valuable information in a fun way. And if you're just tuning in, you could watch us live on Facebook. It's a Facebook group page. You just simply click join group. It's called the Auto Authorities Podcast group page on Facebook. That's where you can see this live. There's also a lot of really good conversation. It's a great community. Please join. And then if you want to watch us recorded, you can go on YouTube and you go to the Auto Authorities on YouTube. Please make comments too. So in the comment section below, when you hear something you like, when you hear something maybe you don't like, or maybe you have a story about something that you've experienced on a topic that we're talking about. And then you can also listen to us on the way to your work on about 19 different channels, such as iTunes, Pandora, Amazon. Need I name more? But without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Zander Cook. He is the COO of LeaseN.com. And his company, it provides an easier, faster, more convenient way to purchase, sell, or turn in your lease vehicle for a profit. And this is a big topic, isn't it, Zander? Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, huge topic. A lot of exciting movement in this space of the auto industry lately. And so, yeah, excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
You are welcome. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of automotive industry experience as well. Not nearly as much as you, Jay, but have a little bit. I started off in finance in a dealership, but really my background's more in technology. And LeaseN here, we're a tech company that tries to really make the end of lease experience seamless, quick, and easy for consumers.
That sounds good. So let's get right into this. Let's talk about, and what I like everybody, when they come on, let's assume nobody knows what even a lease is and how they work. How does a lease work? And how does your company work in turn with that to help the consumer?
Yeah. So a lease is just like it's a financial arrangement similar to a loan. It's a way that someone can purchase a vehicle. Um, During a lease, you have set monthly payments, similar to a loan. The big difference between a lease and a loan, though, is a lease has a termination date, where at that date, um, usually, the lease is returned back to a manufacturer or a dealership, and um, basically the consumer is done, and they can go buy a new vehicle. Um, the cool thing about leases, though, is all of them have what's called a buyout option. They're set with a certain residual amount, which is just a amount that the lease can be bought for. And at the time that the lease is terminating, the person who leased that vehicle has an option to buy that lease out and basically turn their lease into a loan. Um, so that's generally, I guess simply that's how leases are different than loans. I don't know if that was very clear or not,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. I definitely think it was clear. And I have been a huge proponent of leasing. And one of the things that Zander doesn't know is I'm just going to be throwing questions at him. This is raw and uncut, and none of these questions are prepared. And that's what's one of the cool things about the show is Zander, tell us the challenges that people run into and why your company exists and how your company makes things easier for people.
Right. So all people coming to the end of their lease, right? They have options because of this cool lease buyout um, ability that's built into a lease. Um, you can take your lease and turn it into a loan and keep that car. Say you've driven that car for 3 years during your lease and you absolutely love it. You want to keep it. You don't want to take it back to a dealership and get something new and worry about that whole process. You just want to keep it. You have that ability, but a lot of times people don't know they have that. They have that option available to them. Also have the option to buy your lease and then sell it if you have equity in that lease. You can buy it out and then sell it and get something new if you would like. And you also have the ability to just turn it in and be completely done with the vehicle if you didn't like it or it was having problems or whatever. You have that ability. So we at Lease End really like to put ourselves in a position to help advise people each unique situation what they should do at the end of their lease so they can make the best decision for their unique situation.
I love it. And so I have been a huge, huge proponent of leasing. And obviously with the environment that we have been in, now it is now coming closer back to normal. It was just ridiculous because they would make, so what Xander said is, you have that residual, which is basically the manufacturer making a prediction. What is that vehicle going to be worth at the end of the lease? Well, because of the shortage of vehicles, cars were worth so much more than what the residuals were. So what people didn't know is you could actually either so and I want you to tell me what the deal is with this, because I had a lease. I sold that lease. It was a 3-year lease. It was a Toyota Tacoma. I had an amazing, amazing rate, but like I got out of it. Like I walked away with over $3,000. But here's the thing, Xander. I went through US Bank leasing. It was obviously bought leased at a Toyota dealership, but they allowed me to sell that vehicle without paying sales tax.
Uh, yeah, without paying, so that's interesting. What you just described, Jay, is we have a similar product that allows people to do that. What's cool about what we do is I'm guessing. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jay. When you did that, did you need to find a buyer for your lease?
So this is where the loophole was, Xander, and this is what I want to see what you say. So the loophole was, as long as it was sent back to a dealer bought it, then you don't have to pay sales
Pay
tax.
sales tax.
Right. And now what's happening is I keep telling people the party's over, because I've talked about leases tons throughout the show for as long as it's been on. And from what I see is the party's over, because the last time we did a deal with our client, he had a Toyota Tundra. So he used our buyer's agent program. We helped him lease a Toyota Tundra. It was about 2 years into the lease, and he's like, and he wanted out of it because of the gas mileage was killing him, and he wanted to get into a better gas mileage vehicle. This is what the leasing company did. They said, okay, well, if you want to go to the dealer and sell it, here's your payoff of $52,000. If you want to buy it and pay sales tax on it, your payoff is $39,000. And he only owed like, I don't know, 32,000. So he was going to walk away with $7,000, but then he had to go write a check for roughly $4,000 for sales tax. And I said, it's still better for you to do that than, to take a payoff of 52,000. You're going to be like 20 something $1,000s out of equity, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. So the reason I'm guessing that is because when a dealer buys a vehicle, they have a sales tax exemption, right? Dealers don't need to pay sales tax. But what we've seen these leasing companies, like Toyota Financial, US Bank, what we've seen them do lately is they're trying to ban third-party buyouts, right?
Yes.
They're trying to make it so third parties can't buy out these vehicles. They want to drive people back into the dealership so they can get these vehicles back, recapture that equity, whatever they want to do. So yeah, we've been seeing that a lot more lately. That's not necessarily a problem for lease end. We can still help everybody who wants to come off lease, do whatever they want to do. The way we do that is we're a finance company, and so we help our customers get a loan, and then work directly with the leasing companies. So it isn't a third party buyout; it's the consumer doing it directly, but we're just facilitating the transaction. But because of that, yes, you do have to pay sales tax. You don't get that cool dealer sales tax exemption that you used to be able to do.
Yes, and that's where the party became over, because when you're talking about a $40,000 vehicle at 9 to 10%, sales tax, it then that cuts into your profit, and then you got to figure, okay, well, does this make sense to do? That was one of my main questions I was going to ask you is, do you know the companies also, because there are a few companies that I know of that you don't have to go back to the manufacturer. And I had read, from just doing research on your company, that you guys could help with that part of it, because it would be good to know, like, okay, well, if I have a Toyota, I don't have to necessarily go back to Toyota to sell my vehicle. I could sell it somewhere else. And that's what our clients did. And we facilitated that for him to help him with that. And it's a pain in the ass. And that's why I think it's really cool what you do, because it's a pain in the ass to do all this.
Yeah, we're really, we try and save our customers two things. We try and save them time and money. We're just really a convenience factor here. We can help people do this completely from the comfort of their own home. Don't have to go anywhere. Don't have to go to the DMV. Don't have to go to the dealership. And we've digitized this to where it can be done completely online without having to talk to anybody. And for those that prefer to talk to a human, we have an entire team set up of advisors that just advise and help people make the best decision for their unique situation at the end of the lease as well.
Got it. One of my questions I always like to ask people, especially in this situation, give us a good story of either a crazy situation that you had that you were able to help a client, or just a real positive story that you were able to help a client.
Oh man. So we do a lot of lease buyouts these days. We're pretty high volume now. that it's interesting. We get a lot of situations where people they just can't believe what the service that we offer, because they've gone to their dealership, they've gone online, and they've read forums, and they've read all these things that um, that say, hey, you can't, you have to go back to the dealership. That's the message that they're putting out there, right? You have to go back to the dealership. You don't have another option. Um, so, just without getting into, specifics, there's been in the last month 3 or 4 different people that have just made comments like, I can't believe that this isn't, more well known, that this isn't, um, that the manufacturers and the dealerships are trying to suppress this knowledge that you don't actually have to go back to them. And that's kind of the big theme of reviews and stuff that we're hearing these days. So
That's really cool. So what about so I know I did some research. So we had a client that we had a GM lease, and they were like, well, you have to come back to GM in order to get out of your lease. And it was don't quote me on this. It was a GMC Yukon Denali.
So GM is actually a unique one. So there are 10 states where, by law, and GM must have worked with these states a while back, and or union laws or something. There's 10 states in the United States where somebody who's leased a vehicle through GM has to return to the leasing dealership to sign an odometer statement. Now that doesn't mean, so that's all you have to do with GM in those states. What they don't tell you is that you can still, we help people in those situations all the time. Arrange the financing, sign all their paperwork, get everything lined up except for that one odometer statement, and sometimes an authorization for payoff. Yes, so there are 10 states where the person still needs to actually walk into a dealership, but everything can be arranged beforehand, and it's literally taking a packet of paperwork into the dealership, signing their odometer statement, and leaving. So I also believe Mercedes-Benz has 2 states where that's the case as well. But don't quote me on that. So
Yeah. So how long does the process take from start to finish, would you say, if I wanted to sell my lease, and let's just say I wanted to sell it, what would be the start to finish, the process? And I noticed that you also said, just as secondary question, that you pick up the vehicle as well when you sell it. How does that
Yep.
work?
So the process of getting the contract signed and getting all that done can literally be done in 10 minutes. We've built the technology to where you go online, answer a couple of questions, and we built some algorithms that will serve you up an offer. Say your residual value is $25,000, and your car is worth 28. We will serve you up saying, hey, okay, you can completely get out of your lease without having to pay your disposition fees, without having to do any, inspections, or any charges for inspections, as well as any mileage overage. You're going to avoid all that, and then you're also going to get a check for, in that situation, it'd probably be like $2,500. We take a small cut of that. That's how we make money. And then you're going to get a check for $2,500. You can have that paperwork signed in 10 minutes. It's super slick. We've really streamlined it to where you can get an offer and you can get your paperwork signed all digitally really fast. And then from there, we have a network, a logistics network. We have logistic coordinators who will reach out and set a good time for you to come pick up your vehicle, usually within the next day or two. And then we show up and we grab it, and you get a check, and that's that. So it's really streamlined, really simple, and can be done very fast.
How do you do it when there's sales tax involved and you sell the vehicle, and I know I have to pay sales tax on it? how do I pay that sales tax? And then don't you require like having the title to be paid?
Yeah, so we handle the payoff on that vehicle. So like you don't have to do that. You don't have to do anything. So if there is sales tax included, we factor that into the offer, and
Oh,
just build it all in. So then we collect the sales tax from you. We pay that to the
oh,
manufacturer, and then we get the title, and then we just handle all the title work. You don't have to do any of that. So
that's huge what you just said. So, folks, if you're listening, we're talking to Zander Cook. He's the COO of LeaseN.com. He is literally has an amazing company. Again, I've been doing this almost 26 years. This is the first time I've ever heard about a company like this. They're providing an easier, faster, more convenient way to purchase, sell, or turn in your leased vehicle. And you just said an absolute beautiful golden nugget here is, if I understand correctly, you're going to cut me a check for my residual is 25 grand. That's what they said it's worth. You guys buy it out for 28,000. You guys take a cut of that, and that includes my sales tax also, where I'm basically paying you guys. So the difference,
yeah, so I guess in that scenario, let's assume
it would
you're
probably be more. It would have to probably be a larger spread on that one.
yeah, so say your payoff was like $22,000, and so, like, with sales tax, all in numbers 25, right?
Okay,
And
right.
then it's worth 28, so then that's the difference we're working on. So,
Okay, that's what
um,
I figured, and that's
but
great because now you don't have to go to the DMV, right?
right, right, and worry
Folks,
about your title or any of that. So,
man, I'll tell you, Xander, we'll be doing a lot of business together here, with iAutoAgent because, like the client that I had that I shared with you on the Tundra, he had to go back to the DMV, pay his sales tax, wait for the title to come in, and oh, that's huge. That's huge. And you answered one of my other questions. I was going to ask you, like, how do you guys get paid? And you guys just take a cut of each of the deals, obviously.
right. Yeah, yeah, so that's how we make money there. Interestingly enough, people who wanna, sell their lease is a small minority compared to the people today who wanna just keep their lease. That's due to the used car shortage, new car shortage. But most of our customers, we just help arrange financing for to buy out their lease and turn their lease into a loan so they can
Oh,
keep driving. That's probably 90% of our customers choose that path instead of selling their lease these days.
and
Interestingly enough,
that is a really, so I appreciate you bringing that up. So I did do the research and I noticed that you have like some of the bigger banks like PNC and Ally and whatnot. So how do you facilitate that? Do they just go directly, I guess, peer to peer would be the right terminology, meaning them going directly to that. And then when they make that transaction, the bank just pays you a referral of they're sending them to to the bank, right?
so so yeah, on our platform, what we've done is we've been able to aggregate all of these banks, right? We have TD, like you said, PNC, Ally,
Yeah,
all these big national lenders that are huge in the auto space,
right.
most competitive rates out there, right? The best lenders out there.
Yeah.
So we've integrated with all of them, and we've pulled them into our platform to where you can go online, you can enter all your information. We help you get your payoff amount, so we know how much we need to arrange a loan for.
Yeah.
And then we've integrated with these banks, and through our technology, we know the best ones to send you to. And then we shop them, get you the best rate, present that to you all digitally, and then if that looks good, if you like your new payment, you can sign online documents, and you're good to go, and we arrange that loan with that bank.
Wow.
So, and then we also offer, if people would like, to continue to extend their coverage, we offer VSCs and gaps,
Right.
if people want to add that into their loan. But yeah, it's super super seamless. You can buy out your lease and get a loan on that in 15-20 minutes tops on our platform. So we've really streamlined that as well, and it's super cool. So
Oh, I love it, Xander. Yeah, this is great. I got a question for you because I have let's just say 23-year-old daughter that I leased a vehicle with her. Bad idea, by the way. Bad idea. And she magically has really damaged the vehicle. It wasn't her fault. It was her fault, but it really wasn't her fault. Um, she was pulling up to the gas pump, those big yellow posts that are in the gas
Oh
pump
yeah.
keep you from hitting the gas pump. Well, magically, the post actually came out of the concrete, went all the way down the side of her car.
It jumped at her.
It jumped at her, and it's never happened ever in the history of the world, but it happened to her, and it was
Oh
my
man.
fault. And she's not paying for it to a tune of $5,000 worth of damage, and she made sure that it hit all the way down the driver's side of the car, not just a little bit. So my question is, how do you determine what that damage is if I wanted to come to you? Because I told her the car's going away here pretty soon because we're almost done with our lease. I come to you. I say, Zander, I want to sell this. How do you determine what the damage is? I mean, $5,000 it's an exaggeration because I went to the most expensive body shop in St. Louis. I could probably get it done for $2,000 to $2,500 probably.
Yeah. So part of the process when you when you're doing this online and saying I want to sell my lease is we have you go through a condition report on your vehicle,
Mhm.
and those questions. Yeah, is there any body damage? What's the extent of that, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
And that feeds into our algorithm that then puts a value on the car. So um, that should I guess our algorithm would say that, hey, oh yeah, this car is not worth as much as a completely unscraped and scratched one that hasn't, one that a post hasn't attacked,
Yeah.
and so yeah, that would just it would just lower the amount that you would get back in a check back. So
That's awesome. So if everybody's listening, I'd love to hear your comments below. Like, put all your comments below of what is your leasing story. Maybe you have some questions for Zander. We'll get those questions to him. If I can't answer them, Zander will answer them. I'm very, very versed on leasing. I have been a huge proponent of it for many years. It's not always the best thing to do nowadays, but it also helps you a lot with your cash flow. It gives you a lower payment and it allows you to make a payment on the part of the car that you use and not the entire car at the same time, and allows you to buy a vehicle, have full warranty and whatnot. But leave the comments below because I love to hear what you guys have to say. Go to the Auto Authorities Podcast group page on Facebook, uh, YouTube, iTunes. Leave us a review too. I'd love to hear, what you guys think of the podcast. And really, Zander, at this point, anything else that you want to add before we let everybody know how to get in touch with you?
yeah. Just one other cool, I guess, pat ourselves on the back real quick here is we finished number 171 on the Inc. 5000 last year. So we're just growing like crazy and expanding, and there's a huge demand for people needing help at the end of their lease, and we just want to help every single one of them. So um, yeah, just
Good for you, Zander. And you know what? I read that, and truly, we have very, very few guests on the show as of up to this point. We will have more, but we don't just bring anybody on. And this is a really unique service, everybody. Zander, why don't you let everybody know how can they get in touch with you if they have a lease that they want to learn more about how to get out of?
Yeah, so we're just at leaseend.com. That's one word, leaseend.com. Um, and you can go through the process there. We've really built a cool online experience, as well as our phone numbers there. If you'd rather talk to a human, I know a lot of people just prefer to talk to somebody and think through their options that way. Our phone number is right on the site. You can give us a call. We're open 7 days a week. Have somebody there to talk to you. yeah, we're happy to chat. So.
That's awesome. Well, Zander, thank you for joining us today. Go to leaseend.com and we will see you next week, everybody. Have a good